Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by TWC Welterweight champion Dequan Townsend. Dequan, how are you?
I'm all right.
Dequan, you got a fight coming up November 16th at TWC 20. How's training been going for the fight?
Well, I've done a different type of training this time. I went ahead and focused mainly on some of my weaknesses and tried to make them some of my strengths. So I've had a couple different trainers, a couple different strength and conditions. I feel better than I've ever felt before.
Now, you said you're doing stuff differently because you're focusing on yourself for this camp. In the past, were you focusing too much on your opponents? Why the change? What were you doing before that you had to switch up to now?
Well, I'm too busy worried about my cardio and too busy worried about perfecting my stand-up. But a couple of my losses before was against wrestlers, so I just mainly focused on my takedown defenses. So I started, training with a couple of MSU State wrestlers and made them part of the camp and, my main source of training.
You're fighting 1 week from tomorrow. Is this the last day of hard training, or is tomorrow the last day of hard training, or will you train hard right up until the fight? What's the schedule looking like from now until the fight?
Tuesday. I train all the Tuesday. Depends on how my weight is, as far as how I train. But Thursday, I know I take it like easy on Thursday. Beginning of the week and next week is no sparring. It's just pretty much cardio, strength and conditioning. So all the physical parts done later this week.
Is that normal for you going up until the Tuesday of the week of a fight, or is it different because you're fighting at home?
It's normal. I train hard all the way up until the fight. But unless my weight cut is different, if my weight cut is down and I'm on schedule, then I'll just cardio it out. But other than that, I just train hard and continue to drill and work the sweat up.
Where are you training at, and who are you training with in preparation for this fight?
I'm training with John Cabo with MSU Wrestling Room. I've been training with Leroy Ortega, and so that was boxing and MMA.
I see. Now, you're going to be taking on Eric Lozano. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
Well, from the videos I've seen, I don't know too much about Eric. From what I've seen, Eric reminds me of a backyard brawler. So I haven't seen him, throw too many kicks. I see him straightforward throwing hands, not too much of a takedown submission. So I think it's just either punch or be punched with him. So we gotta go from there.
Where do you feel that you have the advantage in this fight?
Well, I definitely have the size and the height advantage. As far as the striking, I feel I'm a better striker than him. So, maybe we can go from there. Or, I definitely have a ground game that's been waiting to be brought out if need be. But if my strength of striking is better, then why not take it to, why not go ahead and go what I'm good at instead of taking it to another level unless I have to.
Now, you're from Lansing, and this fight is going to be taking place in Lansing, Michigan, that is, for the people who aren't familiar with the area. But you're from Lansing, and this fight is taking place there. Just curious, how many tickets have you sold for this event? Because a lot of people out there say that you're the best when it comes to selling tickets out there. So how many have you sold?
Well, a lot of my people are last minute. So far I've got about 5 tables gone and about 50 tickets. I have a lot that's spoken for, but I have a big family. My family is all last minute, so that's what most of my tickets come in to play. Like very last week, so starting Monday, that's what I get. It goes pretty much every day. So, the last fight, May 18th, I didn't really start selling tickets to the last week. And the last week, I've sold about 150, 200 tickets in 7 days. So it goes fast.
Is this going to be a bigger crowd for you than the fight that you had in May?
It definitely will, maybe, because of my opponent. My opponent is a game opponent, and definitely somebody that's worth fighting. So my family goes, and a lot of people come support according to the opponent that I fight. If I fight somebody that's worth fighting, they'll come. But a lot of people feels like, I spend this much money for you to hurt somebody in 7-8 seconds. It's rather difficult. So hopefully he's on this game because I'm making mine.
Now, is this the first defense or the second defense of your title?
Actually, my third defense.
Third defense.
Yes, sir. good.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Dequan, just curious, how did you get your nickname Tarantula?
Well, I have long arms and legs. A lot of these prospects and people say, and spectators view me as fighting style similar to Anderson Silva. Because I have long arms, long legs, and the way I fight. And
also, I noticed that all your fights, and the only time I've ever seen you fight live was, I believe, your pro debut when you fought for Impact Fight League in February of 2012. I think that's the only time I've seen you fight live. But when you were making your walkout, I'm not going to lie, I got chills. I got goosebumps. You walked out with the Halloween theme music, and you had the Michael Myers mask and all that stuff. Just curious, when did that start?
Well, it started back then, a couple years before then, back at one of Ronda Leon's shows, and I was defending my my amateur 170 belt against one of my teammates, Skeeter Kittle. The fight took place October 29th of, I believe, 2011, and we were doing, me and Skeeter decided that, since it's close to Halloween, we're going to come out in our costumes. So he came out as Jigsaw, and he had his girlfriend push him in the wheelchair, and I came out as Michael Myers, and I had the music behind it, and the fact that I seen the crowd and the reaction to it, I just stuck with it. The simple fact is, in cage fighting, this is a big chess match, man. I mean, once you get into your opponent's head and you know you got your opponent beat and your opponent is scared, then that's what really, gets you going. And the fact that I know that as we were kids, the sound of Michael Myers, hearing that music, and when that music comes on, we already know. When that music comes on, he's coming to mess something up. Somebody's getting hurt. So I like to come out with that music. I like to come out with that mask just to bring people back to their childhood memories. I have to market myself. There's a lot of great strikers. So by just my name, how many people gonna know me? That's the way I look at it. I mean, we could name 1,000 great strikers. We could name 1,000 great submission artists, 1,000 great, wrestlers. But the fact of the matter is that there's only one that comes out as Michael Myers. So a lot of people know me by the Tarantula. Some people know me by my own name, but most know me by Michael Myers. So that's one thing that I like to know. Is the fact that the people would see, people who don't know me, and they would think that they would take a break on when I'm about to fight. And the fact that they just see that I'm coming out of the Michael Myers mask, or 9 times out of 10 I have to sit out in the crowd to fight before my fight, and it just brings their attention. So the fact that they see me out there, they're like, who's this guy? What's this guy doing? They want to stop and see me fight. So I do it to be noticed. I want to be noticed, and I want to bring a show. So if I can do that, I can bring exposure to myself, and hopefully I can get to where I need to be.
Definitely. Now, Dequan, after this fight, you're scheduled to have a fight against Marcus Reynolds at XFC 27. Just curious, why the catch weight at 180? Is it something where, you're thinking about moving up to 185 and he was nice enough to meet you at 180? Or is it he can't make 170, so you're coming up to fight him? Just curious, why the catch weight?
Honestly, the real reason was the fact of the matter they couldn't find nobody to fight me at 170 for such a low price. I had to spread my wings. I have no problem fighting at 85. I fought at 85 before. I actually made my Colorado debut out in February earlier this year when I fought a very game opponent from Grudge at 185 and knocked him out in 7 seconds. So the fact of the matter that and it wasn't that, it was just the fact that I really wanted to fight somebody, and get on that card, because it's still in Michigan and have an advantage of fighting for a good promotion. I had an opportunity to fight a very game opponent, at one point, but due to my decisional loss in Colorado, fighting a very tough game opponent, a seasoned veteran, they didn't offer the same deal on the table. They felt that maybe I wasn't ready. I felt that I was ready. I still wanted to take the fight, but they offered it to someone else, so I had to go ahead and get a fight by any means necessary. And they tried. They couldn't find nobody who wouldn't want to fight and step in the cage with me at 170. So I said, what I do is catch weight, 170, 175, 180, 185. I don't care. Just put me in the cage with somebody. I want to hurt somebody.
Now, is this a multiple fight deal with XFC, or is it just a one-off right now with the potential to become something more? Because, obviously you're a Michigan guy, it's a Michigan card, it makes sense to have you on that card. Is there something in the works, or is it just a one-off?
Well, we put it in the works. The I mean, I know for the fact of seeing my walkout and my pictures, that's what got their attention. At first, they didn't even. It was more of a. We'll think about it. We'll see what's going on, and they pretty much sold me to the promoter by showing a picture of my walkout entrance, and he's like, you know what? I want this guy on my card. I want this guy pretty much for TV. But the fact that I couldn't pull away with the victory for the Colorado fight, they thought that maybe I wasn't ready, but they still wanted me on their card. So if I go there, do what I normally do best, execute something, and I hurt somebody, I'm pretty much guaranteed a nice multi-fight contract. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking for. So.
Now, obviously, you're focused on your fight for November 16th. When will you start focusing, on the December 13th fight? How many days off will you take after this fight, or will it be right back in the gym the first chance you get?
Well, I already started.
Oh, okay.
I already started focusing for my next opponent, because the thing is fighting so long, fighting so many, and fighting for so much, and having so many fights, you become used to your opponents. You become used to people's fighting styles. So it's nothing I've never seen before. Fighting Eric Lozano, no disrespect to Lozano, but fighting Lozano is nothing I've never fought before, nothing I've seen before. Right. With him, I imagine he wants to come blow for blow. From all I've seen, that's what he wants to do. Now, maybe he runs some tricks in the trade. That may be different, But I pretty much am trained as much as I could train for him. And that day that I fight him, I stopped watching video on Lozano already. I stopped watching video on him. I started watching video on Marcus Reynolds, because I need, it gives me more time to focus. So I fight Eric Lozano next Saturday. I'll be in the gym. I'll be training for Marcus Reynolds Monday morning. And we're going to go from there. I have no days off. I can't take no time off. It's a fight back to back, and that's just how it's going to be.
Now, was XFC, were they, kind of hesitant in bringing you aboard on this card because you already have a fight scheduled up? Because, if you get injured or get knocked out, I don't know what the scenario would be. Was there any hesitation because you already have a fight lined up for them putting you on this card? Was that ever something that they discussed?
Well, it never was necessarily discussed to me. Right. But there was rumors about it. Right. There was rumors that they was more paranoid about that situation, and maybe that could have played a part as to why I got on the main card. I don't know. Everybody has their own reason. And me personally just believe that maybe because the last dude I fought was 20-12. And I had only 5 pro fights. I fought somebody who had 32. And the guy that I was going to be fighting, he had 27 or 26. So I was severely the underdog, which I knew that, and I was okay with that. But I know they're trying to build. I know that Jugarna's definitely trying to build. Wants to build me up. He wants to expose me to XFC. So I don't know whose doing it is, but maybe who knows? I just appreciate the opportunity to get on the card, and me and my boy Andy Carter, and try to display some more talent in Michigan MMA.
Now, health-wise, is that something that your coaches were worried about? Going into this fight. I mean, obviously, you're going to go in there against Eric Lozano, and you're going to try to, get the fight over with as quick as possible and get him out of there, knock him out, do whatever you got to do to get the win. But if it goes 5 rounds, you're and you do suffer damage, you're going to do whatever it takes to win. You're not going to pull out, hey, I got this XFC fight, I'm just going to, worry about my health and get out of there. You're going to go in hard, and you're going to try to get the win, regardless if it's 1 round, 5 rounds, whatever. Is that something that maybe your coaches are kind of concerned about, staying healthy, remaining healthy, so you can take this XFC fight?
Well, think about it, healthy, but they always tell me to fight my fight.
Right.
I mean, if we go 5 rounds, I'm ready. Right. Honestly, what I'm saying, I don't see the fight going wrong, but it could. It can definitely. I mean, like I said, you never know. They have a lot to bring to the table. Who knows? But whatever he's doing, I'm preparing for. And whether he was 5 rounds or 1 round, it's going to go. Now, if he comes in the first round swinging for the fences, that fight's not going to go off the first round, guaranteed. And I'm not being cocky. I'm very confident when it comes to that. I've struck with some of the best of them, and if that's what he may think he's going to do, he might want to revise the game plan. But as I said, I'm just going to go ahead and fight my fight. Try to take the first opportunity I got. I'm not going to do anything leave nothing behind, and hopefully I get the debut as quick as possible, as easy as possible. By any means possible. Submission, TKO, knockout, whatever he gives me, I'm going to take.
Dequan, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Well, I'd like to thank all the family and friends for supporting me as always. Some of the sponsors that I've had that's always stuck with me since day one, EMC Egghead, Ableton Ebony's at last. We got Fight Rocks, Defiant Industries, Mercy Fighter. I just picked up a new sponsor today, Centerfold Nightclub. So, I want to thank all my sponsors for having my back, doing whatever it takes to, support me. Also, Cage Aggression, I forgot to mention, Cage Aggression, I'd like to thank them too. But I just like to appreciate everybody for, coming out and supporting us, because us as fighters, we ain't nobody without, people coming to see us and cheer us on. And, everybody who bought, Tarantula shirts and wearing Tarantula shirts, I truly appreciate you. You guys are wonderful. And I just look forward to the fight.
Dequan, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck November 16th at TWC 20 against Eric Lozano.